I gotta say that obviously I would never wish wartime on anybody, right? But I will tell you, going to, our conflict, being in Iraqi freedom, it changed me forever in the sense that it gave me a perspective I'll never be able to let go of. Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Zero Bunker. If this is your first time here at the Zero Bunker, we want to welcome you. This is a it has officially been 1 month, 4 weeks here on the podcast.
That's right.
And we're growing pretty quick, bro.
Oh, dude, yeah, the support has been fucking overwhelming. So I'm glad that all you guys that are listening to this or watching this on YouTube, we're just glad that you guys are, enjoying this, man. We're having a blast doing this stuff, man, and we're going to keep doing more.
Fuck yeah, man. It's been amazing. Now, if this is your first time, we're just giving you a heads up. This is, let's just say it's explicit, all right?
You know what's funny about that, man? So I had a guy, he said that, and maybe he's listening to this, but he has like an iPhone that was given to him by, whatever company he works for. And he could not listen to any of our podcasts because they're explicit. So
holy shit, man. So that's so that you don't surf porn and shit on the company phone, dude.
No, it's all locked and shit. So my message to you, bro, get your own fucking iPhone so you don't miss this shit out.
Yeah. We're not this is what is it? Not safe for work, man. That's the podcast. By the way, I should go ahead and introduce myself. My name is CJ.
And I'm G. What's going on, guys?
What's up? So what are we getting into today, man?
Man, well, first off, for those of you who have been following ZF and the Zero Bunker, man, I mean, we had an incredible day yesterday. To keep a long story short, actually, you know what? It's not going to be short because we need to get into detail with this shit, man. We were lucky enough to be at an event up in North Fort Worth.
Right.
Where we had over 300 plus World War II veterans, Vietnam, Korea, Desert Storm. I mean, we had all these guys, man. It was... Right? I mean, it was like walking into history, except I had all the fucking gray hairs. I don't know how that worked, but...
Dude, in all honesty, guys, if you're watching this right now, and I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with, being around, say, a World War II veteran or even Vietnam vets for that matter. I mean, it's especially with World War II, it is a rarity to run into some of these guys and to walk into a room where you literally the mass majority, it almost seems like there's so many. It's weird, man. It's crazy.
It is. And what's even more baffling is that you have all these generations of warriors who have literally built the freedoms that we have today. Right? Yeah. I mean, these are the guys who defended the free world, and we had an opportunity to sit down and talk to a lot of them. And essentially this event was like this massive lunch, which they do every month. It's a nonprofit, which we've donated to. In fact, we drove up there. We paid for the entire event. And we're actually going to be, helping them out as much as possible in the future. So we're always trying to find reasons to give back and to help out in the community. And a lot of you guys know, I mean, there's a lot of nonprofits out there that want to quote unquote help veterans. And then you come to find out they're full of shit. Well, so we vector them out, but what we saw up there was real, and we're going to definitely be contributing to it. So,
yeah. And, I got to say, guys, first of all, joining Zero Foxtrot and, being here on the Zero Bunker has really been hugely impactful to me as a person. I have opened my eyes to just a generation of people that I hate to say that I did not. I feel almost like disrespectful that I hadn't known more about them, or I hadn't had as much like respect because I just didn't know. It's like I never took the time to really understand and hear some of these stories and read the history. And dude, Zero Foxtrot has really been impactful to me in that way. Like it's opened my eyes to something that I feel like I take for granted in a sense. That's a better way to put it. You know, I've always had respect for him, but it's like taking it for granted because it's you know, out of sight, out of mind kind of thing, you know?
Right. Yeah. I mean, sometimes we get so busy with our own lives that we tend to forget, you know, what's really important. And I mean, here's the deal, guys. I mean,
wait, it's not just like tattoos, hoes, and motorcycles. There's more than that.
And beards. No, there's a lot more than that. I mean, you know, here's the deal. We decided to, you know, to divulge into capturing the stories of these veterans for a variety of reasons. And if you go through, you know, all of our podcasts that we've done so far, we talk about it all the time. You got to find what's important to you in life, and you got to stick with it. You know, I mean, maybe there are things, you know, I'll give you an example. Maybe I never pay attention to, I don't know, somebody who's, you know, dying of cancer, or maybe I don't pay attention to, you know, people that are homeless. You know what I mean? It's not because I don't respect them. It's just, it's like you were saying. And maybe I need to be a better person and kind of be more open-minded and see what's really around, you know?
Well, here's something that's cool is that, you know, again, like the way Zero Foxtrot was to me, where it opened my eyes to kind of a network and an understanding of something that I didn't know much about. I think what's been awesome is you know, and Zero Foxtrot is a great brand. If you guys haven't been there, by the way, quick little plug, zerofoxtrot.com. But
Tang
you know,
is religion.
Tang is religion stickers and T-shirts and mugs, and I mean, so you know, there's apparel and stuff like that. But there was a deeper message behind the brand, and you guys that follow the Zulu Fox Instagram know that. But what's cool is Zero Bunker. And these things that we're starting to do with collecting media and content, it's a way for us to really express the heart and the passion behind this brand. Mm-hmm. You know, because I mean, guys, look, yeah, the shirts are fucking cool, but we want you to understand this not just a fucking shirt. All right, like there's a passion and a meaning behind this shit. And the only way for us to be able to show that, I think, is through some of these platforms and you know, talking openly on podcasts and being able to interview some of these amazing heroes. And so I love this evolution that we're going through, bro.
Dude, that's an awesome evolution, dude. That's a fucking keyword right there, man. But you're right, man. I mean, you want to stand, you know, I wanted to build a company that stood behind something real, you know, not some bullshit, not something that, you know, when you buy from us, and this is not a sales pitch, guys. I mean, when you buy, you're buying into something that's more, like you said, more than just apparel and all the other good shit. And what's great is that, you know, we because of people supporting what we're doing, we were able to take these trips, and we're able to, you know, to get the right crew to go up there and capture these stories. I mean, you know, we sit down, you know, CJ, he's the guy who does all the videos, man. And we had the entire crew out there, and they were, you know, it was just an awesome experience. And we actually just uploaded a fucking badass video.
It's awesome. You guys check that shit out. Maybe, who knows, maybe I'm showing it right now. But dude, yeah, you got to see it. It's amazing.
Yeah, so if you want to know, like, get more of a visual behind the brand and what ZF stands for, I highly suggest you watch it.
Dude, wait, hold on. Yeah. I just realized it sounded like I was sucking my own cock just now. I mean, it's awesome, not in the sense that I edited the video. I mean, it's fucking awesome because, like, the message behind it, okay? Just to be clear.
Well, give credit where it's due, man, you know? So
okay,
he did some good shit, and
I'll give myself the little tip.
That's why he's still here. So, but you know, we sat down, we talked to. I mean, like even magic started happening, right? I mean, for example, we had a Pearl Harbor survivor who was there at Schofield Barracks and then landed on fucking Omaha Beach on D-Day and survived all that. We had guys who rode with Patton. We had Vietnam veterans who tunnel rats. We had a guy who was in all three major wars, you know, Korea, World War II, and Vietnam. And in fact, it was we had two World War II veterans who were part of the same unit and found each other at this event.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. I got some footage of them actually meeting each other and shaking each other's hands for the first time. And I wish I would have captured audio to see what they were actually saying. It was crazy busy, but man, so powerful, dude.
Yeah, and this is one thing
and there was the guy. Did you already mention it was the 102-year-old? Was it the Guadalcanal guy?
Oh yeah, there was a Marine who fought in Guadalcanal. He was 102. We had Tuskegee Airmen out there. It was just an overall massive experience, and all of them had a story. We had POWs. We had, we had one guy who was a medic, landed on Omaha Beach on the first wave, fought in Battle of the Bulge, was a POW, and survived all that. And when I was speaking with him, he said, I was like, what'd you do after the war? He's like, I went to work in a peanut factory. Like, Like it was no big deal, you know? And which brings me to one thing that I did wanted to share with you guys, and it kind of launches off into a topic that I feel, you know, here's one thing. We always want to make sure that you guys walk out with something constructive out of this that you can apply in your own lives.
Everybody right now is like,
no dildos?
They're saying he's segueing Peanut Factory into whatever the message is about.
It ain't about peanuts, all right? But so what I'm going to read right now is actually an excerpt from an officer who was on Omaha Beach. I think it was either on the first or the second wave, and you're gonna just kind of bear with me here, and then you'll see where I'm going with this. So, all the men who had landed earlier were present except for a handful who had made their way forward, most of them being killed. The beach was total chaos with men's bodies everywhere, with wounded men crying, both in the water and on the shingle. Men crying with fear, men defecating themselves, too petrified to move. No one was doing a thing except lay there. It was like a mass paralysis. The beach sounded like beehive with the bullets flying around you. You could hear them hit, hear them flying through the air. At one point, something hit me on the arm. I thought I'd taken a bullet, but it was somebody else's hand that was taken clean off by something, and it was just too much. And this was Captain Joseph T. Dawson, 30 years old, of the 16th Infantry Regiment, 1st Infantry Division, Omaha Beach. So, it's kind of hard to, I guess, explain the mindset, you know. I mean, I'm trying to visualize this, right? And topic of all of this is when we're talking to these men that have shared some incredible and brutal stories, they were just so eloquent about it. They just spoke with so much ease, like it was no big deal.
Yeah.
So it made me wonder, what the fuck are we doing wrong in our society where we complain about waking up at 6:30 in the morning, we complain about traffic, we complain about losing fucking iPhones, and these guys, despite all this, found a way to move on like it was no big deal. So,
dude, that's, you know, man, I will tell you guys, as a official, I even had the register, okay, but I'm a millennial. No, I didn't. Fuck. There's not a millennial registration.
Did you actually know? I want to segue into this, right?
Yeah.
I made a millennial comment on Instagram one time, and this guy was like, "I was born in 1986, and I don't speak for all the millennials." I was like, "Wait a second." I was like, "If you were born in the 80s, you're not a millennial, right?"
No, I think you are.
See, I didn't know it. I thought millennials were if you were fucking, you were shot out of somebody's pussy at year 2000, and now. I thought that was millennial. Now it's Generation Y or whatever the fuck.
Well,
I was blown away.
Well, here's the thing. First of all, I hate to say technically because if you read different sites, like they say that it ranges, but most sites will say between like 1985, maybe as early as 84, and it's a big range. It's actually apparently we're like the biggest generation, and then prior to us was Gen X, which was our parents, of course, and then you had the baby boomers before that. But I use the word millennial. Here's the thing, guys. The generation, it's a way to classify like a group of people, but speaking as a quote unquote millennial, if that's what you call me, I gotta say that obviously I would never wish wartime on anybody, right? Mm-hmm. But I will tell you, going to our conflict, being in Iraqi freedom, it changed me forever in the sense that it gave me a perspective I'll never be able to let go of. Coming into the civilian world, I'm never like I cannot bring myself to be such a victim like I feel like so many people are around me. Like there's this society of victimization of like poor me and like excuse, like you said, it's like, I don't have the newest version of iPhone, I'm gonna fucking kill myself. I'm never gonna be able to do that, I think, because I've witnessed what real fucked up shit can be.
Well, what I will also say, one thing that I wanted to say too, and this is not to minimize anybody else's struggles, right? And so you don't have to go to war to fucking understand life. Okay, I want to make that super clear.
No.
But we also, if you think that not getting a brand new fucking iPhone is the end of the world, I mean, if that's what it means, it just shows me you're just on this low bracket level, because for a person that has more experience about life, is like, dude, it's a fucking iPhone, right? But maybe the person above me can say, hey, you're bitching about your fucking mortgage, like that ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like,
and I want to clarify too, please do not take my statement to say that, you know, especially if you're a veteran, listen to this, that was in a conflict. Look, we're not any better than anybody else. And in everybody's situation, we said this in the Mogadishu episode, that everybody's situation is a subjective thing. But what's true for all of us is understanding and putting things into perspective. So if I think it's unfortunate there are, you know, spoiled kids in this world that, you know, and they say this about, like, as much as we bitch about millennials, but they say the problem is Gen X, right? The parents of those millennials. Now I'm not going to point fingers or whatever.
See, I was raised by fucking Italians, man. So it's like,
see, I was raised by wolves.
Fucking Mowgli, man. But no, I was raised by Italians, man. So guess what? I bitched, I get my ass beat. That's
Right.
just the bottom line. So
Well,
I got straightened out.
Absolutely. You know, and my mom, I feel like raised me a little bit differently than I think some of my friends' moms and stuff. But there was this kind of generation of
She
like,
put you in a cage.
she would have if the cops wouldn't. But you know, but I had a lot of friends. You might have, like, coming up in high school and stuff, that their friends were like, or their parents were basically like their friends. It wasn't really parents; it was fucking friends.
Well, that's because they probably popped them at like age 15 or something. I don't know.
Well, yeah, that's what's funny. My mom was 17 whenever I was her high school. I was her senior, like, present in high school. But here's the thing, like, kind of getting back to this. But the truth is, guys, what war did for me, and again, it doesn't have to be war. It forced my spoiled ass. And my, you know, I was a punk kid that didn't know shit about shit, and it put me in a situation that forced me to understand how fucking lucky I actually was to be in the situation that I was. You know, as much as I bitched about my parents, as much as I bitched about my situation, like, you know, I remember my mom and dad made me buy my fucking first car, and I had friends that were getting these finance cars and shit.
Oh my God, they made you buy your first fucking car.
Well, as a fucking teenager, I remember I'm driving this piece of shit Ford Ranger, like farm truck that I paid $1,000, and check this out, it was my stepdad's truck. I had to pay him cash to be able to drive the truck. It was family owned. Now, here's the thing. As a kid, I remember thinking, man, that's fucked up. My friends got these jacked up pickup trucks and this expensive stuff and whatever, and their parents are... But, dude, I tell you what, man, like, growing up, maturing, gaining perspective, I realized, like, fuck, CJ, you are lucky as a motherfucker just to be born into a world where you have the ability to fucking drive. True. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm sitting here bitching about, like, what car I have, and I'm not even thinking, dude, you're a 16-year-old kid that has food in your mouth, and you had the ability to fucking drive wherever you want to.
And here's the other thing, man. I mean, on what you just said, in order for you to understand that, it's either you expand your knowledge about what's around you, kind of like, you know, get out of your reality bubble, or get experience. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I guarantee you, a person who's, I don't know, traveled to fucking Africa or some shit, has already gained more experience about life than, you know, somebody else who hasn't, you know? And so at the end of the day, it's you got to create, you know, your experiences in order to diversify your reality and your perceptions, you know? And then there's some people that have experiences and they don't learn from it. And that's a whole different fucking segment. You know, you can fucking throw them against the fucking wall and they still don't understand it. And that's just them. And like anything else, you know, whether it's, and this affects personal, business, work, family, relationships, all that shit. You got to come to grip with reality, and you have to expand on it.
So what do you think? What do you think exactly the answer is? Because I mean, so I agree obviously with you 100% on this, and I think one of the things that's interesting about being former military, especially, you know, in the time that we were, is it gave me certain it allowed me certain tools through my experiences to perceive reality a little bit differently in civilian life, and kind of hardened me up enough to where I felt lucky to have the things, you know, and so, but I've also been a critic in the fact that we can almost overcompensate. Like, you're so hard that it's hard to adapt or whatever. Mm-hmm. So here's my question though. We're talking to civilians, guys that let's say you haven't been through through shit, and I don't mean just war. I mean like you ain't been through a lot of hard times, right? Maybe they're a kid, maybe you're just a fucking lucky individual out there,
right?
What do we do? How does that person, you know? Because I remember what it was like being a teenager and not understanding reality because I hadn't. You know what I mean? Like I was stuck in a bubble. How the fuck do you get out of the bubble is my question.
So, and this is just my 2 cents and opinion on this, and it may not be right, but first off, you got to have the right guidance. You got to have the right, I guess, leadership in your life. And it starts from parents, right? I mean, your parents are, the ones who are lucky enough to have both parents, or even just one. Their job is to teach you about life, and it's to gain you experience, not to shield you from reality. They're trying to like control, the exposure of life, essentially, right? And then there are some situations that just fucking happen because that's just the way life is. And then there are controlled scenarios where it's like, you know what? I'm going to go fucking, I don't know, go climb Mount Everest, right? Or you know what? I'm going to join the military, whether it's peacetime or wartime. Or, my cousin, for example, she wanted to get experience to learn English, right? So she fucking flew all the way to fucking Australia on her own dime, worked in like some hippie camp doing, whatever the hell she was doing, like some farming or whatever. But she gained that experience. Then she went to Indonesia because she wanted to learn this. So it's up to you to be proactive to kind of like, break out of that bubble sometimes.
Huh. Yeah, dude, it is so valuable, the amount of experience I got from your mom.
She teaches a lot, man. She knows her shit. She knows her shit, man. I will tell you that. And she was not impressed with you, bro.
Well, it is interesting. So I'm a parent, and that's something I think about all the time, is because I want to be able to instill I want to have the right kind of leadership for my kids. And, there's 2 sides of that coin. I want to make sure that I'm an empathetic parent, that I'm not just some hard ass asshole. But in the same breath, I know the values that my mom helped me to understand. She was kind of a hard ass, I'll be honest with you. She was the tough love type. And then I went right into the Marine Corps, So it's like,
I mean, you look like the kid who probably got beat a lot by his mom, dude.
Surprisingly, no. I got in a few fights with my stepdad, though. That's, but that's about it.
So one thing that I wanted to get into in regards to perspective, and what I mentioned was, this applies to, your family, friends, business, friendship, whatever, right? Us, we own businesses. Obviously, I'm running ZF and everything else around it. You own several businesses of your own. How did did owning your own business, help with perspective in life?
Yeah. What's interesting to me is, you talk about owning a business. But I think, something that more people understand than owning a business. Cause still entrepreneurship, it's becoming more common, but it's still relatively uncommon, I'd say, or it's rare. But being a parent and let me parallel this. So what helped me to gain perspective and grow up at the end of the day, number one, and I use war as an example, and being a parent as an example, and owning a business, because all of those things, where they're alike, is that I was responsible for other people, that I had to put other lives that were more, basically, I'm in a situation where there are other lives that are more important than my own. And whenever I really accepted that. When I took that reality where I'm like, I'm putting food in people's mouths as a business owner. I'm supporting their family. My children obviously rely on me. And then my brother next to me that I don't want to get shot. And man, that's a transcending moment, dude. When you're when something becomes bigger than yourself. Dude, that just perspective is changed forever. That is the most humbling thing ever. I think maybe I heard this on one of the Zero films or something where a guy would, said it's not. I wasn't worried about getting shot because.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. He said that my biggest fear wasn't being killed. My biggest fear was having my men getting killed.
Yeah, making a mistake that might have
right. I mean,
yeah.
that, and he was a leader. So real brief about him, and God bless his soul, because he actually recently passed away. But we were able to capture his story, so I'm thankful for that. And Doc Hazard, he was an officer, and I mean, the most humbling guy, the most hardcore badass you can ever imagine. He was so compassionate about his men, but let me tell you something, man. If you were German, dude, boy, he would cut your ass up. And his job was to go behind enemy lines with his patrols and gather information and reconnaissance and all that. And he's been through the gauntlet plenty of times. In fact, when he received his men, all the officers had been killed. He literally just got off the boat, and it sank in. There we go, perspective, right? It sank in that he's like, I got to lead these men. They don't even know me. I literally just got off the boat, and I got to lead these guys who have been through shit, and I got to earn their respect. And he did, and he was a phenomenal leader. In fact, he actually turned down several medals for valor because he wanted to give it to the guys that were with him, and they said, no, it was just you. So he says, I'm not going to take it. So that's the kind of guy that he was, and he's going to be on the Fading Front documentary. I know a lot of people have been asking about that for Zero Films Productions. We had some setbacks. It is a lot of work.
We're unfucking it. We're gonna get it done, guys. We got this shit.
The mission is gonna. I don't give a fuck it's gonna happen. So
fuck yeah, it's gonna happen.
So just stand by for that. But in regards to the perspective issue part of it, you're right, man. I mean, I think if like you look at the public school systems, you look at college, universities, man. I wish they could teach perspective classes. Truly, I'm not even bullshitting about that. I wish they could. I wish every day, every week, they would bring somebody in that classroom to talk to the young generation, whether it's military, whether it's business, whether it's relationships, whatever it is, to kind of expand on that and like kind of like tickle that curiosity that a lot of people seem to be fucking, they just kind of drown that out because of cell phone, social media, and all that. You know what I mean?
Well, and that's what I don't know. It's hard for me, man. Like I don't know if this may be not the complete representation of perspective necessarily, but one big thing, and I tie this into the conversation of perspective like this, and this is something I'm incredibly like. You want to know where I get butt hurt, or I'm gonna go ahead and I'll let y'all know where I'm sensitive to the thing that bugs me, that will irritate me to no fucking end, is selfishness. Now, what I mean by that, now it's not that I don't understand. I'm a smart enough individual to understand why people watch out for themselves, right? Like obviously you want to take care of yourself. I totally get that, but we are surrounded because of social media and your status it's based off how many fucking likes and thumbs up and how much fucking credit you get, right? Like now half the motherfucking time on Facebook, I see somebody like, happy birthday to my friend. And it's a goddamn selfie of you with your friend in the background. What the fuck is that, dude? Like, you know what I mean? Like but that's the fucking society that we're in, dude. And it's so egotistical. It's so selfish. And that's the part of perspective that I feel like if we could somehow put empathy for other people, show people that there is something bigger than your own pride, it would change everything about everything. But how the fuck do you do that to the masses, man? It's ratings, it's clicks, it's followers, it's subscribers. Well, hey, subscribe, by the way, please. Hit that bell.
But it's I don't know, counterproductive maybe. But I will, if you listen to this, this is what okay, maybe we can start from this, right? If you're listening to this right now, okay, really ask yourself today, what was the hardest thing that you had to go through today, okay? Whether it was waking up, whether it was, fucking picking up your kids from school, whatever it was, what is the most uncomfortable thing that you had to endure today, right? Mm-hmm. And now step back from your own reality and try to pick at least one event or one person that maybe you don't know you heard about or whatever it is, and try to put yourself in that scenario, right? Whether it's, I don't know, pick the worst thing in the world. I mean, pick the Holocaust, pick whatever the hell you want, right? And then go back and ask yourself, was my day really that bad? And out of all of that, start shifting towards, well, what the fuck do I, what is good in my day, right? So it's like taking baby steps. Essentially, you got to recognize that your day is not being that fucking hard, okay?
Yeah.
That you have a lot of positive shit in your life. And if you don't, then you ask for help. And, then it kind of all ties in, right? Building like a network of it. But there's always something good and positive. And case in point, the guy, we met a guy at this event. He was a B-29 bomber. He was shot down over Tokyo. And that guy, man, I mean, you want to talk about a bad day? I mean, that guy was captured. He was tortured. I mean, that guy went through hell, right? And you know what he said to me? He said, I wish I would have been shot down over Italy. At least I would have ate better. Like, that's what he, it really put a perspective in my own fucking existence when I heard that.
Dude. So check this out. This was, I want to apologize for whoever I'm about to not give credit to, because I can't fucking remember exactly what the situation was. But there was somebody that was documenting. It was like Iraq or Afghanistan, right? And it was somebody, I think a professional like newscaster or somebody that does these kind of field reporting.
It ain't you, CNN. Sorry.
So anyway, so this lady, she does, and she first.
Fuck, blonde chick, right?
I don't know.
Because I was about to say, you're talking about like a woman reporter who went out there and did shit.
Well, so interestingly enough, she didn't actually go. Well, she might have actually gone out there, but here's the deal: she was putting together this documentary basically on this conflict, and she decided, instead of her going out and filming, she actually put the cameras in the soldiers' hands and the Marines' hands. So she actually had them documenting themselves.
That's interesting.
And what's crazy, so she puts all this together, right? And she's at this is where I remember. Okay, so Tony Robbins was actually giving this example at a speech, right? So he was doing this whole like motivational thing, and he used her as an example.
Was his jaw there or just him?
The whole thing.
Okay.
So anyway, he says that he asked her. He said, okay, so she gets all this footage back. They put together the thing. He said, what's the most like?
Why'd you shoot them kids?
What's the most eye-opening or like life-changing thing that you learn from this or whatever, Mm-hmm. And she gives this example where she went and saw one of the guys that was in the thing. He was in the hospital or at the VA. He had lost his left arm, mm-hmm. And she's sitting there talking to him, and he is the happiest motherfucker ever. Mm-hmm. And he's just happy and just excited, and he's all like bandaged up and shit. And she's like, I mean, how, like, I don't understand. Like, how is it that he was like, I'm just happy to be alive? And she's like, well, why? And he answers with, because I'm a righty. Hey, and wow. here's the most powerful part. She goes to leave. They had this whole conversation, this whole interview or whatever. Mm-hmm. She goes to leave. He pushes away from the table. He don't have either of his legs. He didn't even mention it.
Jeez. Wow.
Smile on this motherfucker's face. And again, I'm hearing this story through a Tony Robbins video, but guys,
wow.
I mean, what a great illustration of perspective. And I gotta say, I mean, just like you were saying, when I understand and think of stories like that, that's why I think maybe history is more important than I ever thought it was. Mm-hmm. I mean, up until my adult years, guys, like I had my own personal experience, but kids coming up that are going to have a hard time getting out of their bubble. One of the ways to do that is to start reading about stories about things like this so that you can understand what the struggle was to allow you to have a fucking phone in your hand.
True.
You know what I mean? Like when you really grasp that and drink it in, it's huge.
Yeah, in regards to that, man, I feel like a lot of people, they drink a lot of fucking Kool-Aids, and I mean that in plural.
You talking about Waco?
This motherfucker, if y'all didn't know, like CJ was actually born on April 19th, like the day where
it was burned down.
Yeah, it was a hot ass day, man. But what I will say though is that you know, that a lot of people, you know, like you're saying, hey, read this to get your perspective, right? But I also feel that there's, you know, nowadays, man, everybody is like fake news, and everybody's like, I don't trust this source, and because there's so much bullshit that gets like muddled with the truth. Like, broad example, and this is just goes to show you the level of you know, people not trusting sources, right, or not believing it. Like everything is being questioned nowadays. When Gunny Ermey died, you know, we obviously, you know, made a post to pay homage to him. Dude, like the beginning wasn't like, oh man, we're sorry he, you know, like, you know, rest in peace, whatever. It was like, oh, that's fake, man. Oh, he didn't die, he's alive. And it's like, it was like, dude, it became like this shit fucking thread because of, you know, and I don't blame these dumbasses for saying that kind of shit. How can I blame them when they're right? There is so much fucking fake shit going around. How can you get a perspective on, you don't know what's real and what's not anymore sometimes, you know what I mean? That's why I feel like sometimes there's a downfall.
Well, you know what though, when it comes to that, man, look, there is no, first of all, bitching about fake news. And this is no offense to anybody that's put that on you. Like, if you put that out there, whatever. But just so you understand, I don't care what side of the fence you sit on, whether you're a Fox guy, a CNN guy, whoever the fuck you are. By putting fake, just saying like, oh, fake news, you're not actually helping a goddamn thing, and it's not doing anything. It's not going to solution. Like, if you think that you're going to convince CNN to all of a sudden be uber conservative, you're wrong. Like stop. The only fucking answer that we have, whether it's your Facebook feed, your goddamn Instagram, CNN, Fox, whatever it is for people to take their own level of responsibility and fucking do your homework. Right. Like, guys, before you just spit something out of your suck, fucking go to
that's the other dude. You hit it on the spot, dude. So a lot of stuff that I put on Instagram for Zulu Fucks, man, is you know, I love movies, man. Sometimes I put a lot of old school movie references, right? I mean, Heat, fucking. I think the last one I did was Ronin, man. Badass movie, Color of the Boathouse and all that shit. But anyways, what blows my mind is that literally I would put this movie is titled X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? Motherfuckers like, what's the movie called? I mean, you're that lazy. It's not because like I don't want to tell you what it is.
Yeah.
It's just that you're so fucking lazy. You don't even want to lift your fucking eyeball up a degree to actually take your time to read a fucking line that says movie. Right. It's not, and this is not because of the movie. It's literally because of people just want everything in front of them and they're too lazy to even find the answer to.
Yeah, and that's what's interesting is that there's two ways to look at this. Now, there are certain people that are going to say, well, it's not our fault for like being headline readers or falling into that trap because, you know, look at, you know, what Facebook has basically done, or look at like the way the news is, look at all these fake sources. Guys, I'm not discrediting that there are a fuckload of landmines out there. And like, I get it. But the thing is, at the end of the day, no matter what worlds you live in, whatever conflict's going on, you're responsible for pulling your own head out of your own ass.
True.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's, I mean, it's not to say I get that the world's fucked up. I get that shit is hard. It's hard to sift through shit. Like, I understand, okay? Regardless, like, you're still fucking lazy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you're still being, like, so you're absolutely right, guys. Like, I mean, it may be a motherfucker to sift through it, but it's your responsibility. That's the world you live in.
I don't really have anything else to add because it's right on the money, man. So I guess the question is, how do you fix this? And I think we went over a bunch of shit. Is first off, get your head on your own fucking ass. That's one. Second off, explore your own fucking options, man. Like, you know, broaden your fucking horizons on goddamn reality, man. You know, like if you keep
well traveled.
Yeah, if you keep your fucking bubble this goddamn small, it's always gonna be, you're always gonna live in that fucking marble world, man. You know, you gotta like, you don't gotta spend money, you don't gotta go to war, you don't gotta do any of the extreme shit. All right, there's little things you can do. Read a fucking book, be surrounded by people that have been there. That's why I love, you know. I've always surrounded myself with older people. When I was like 5, all my friends were like 10. When I was 10, all my friends were like 17. When I was 17, all my friends were like 25, right? Nowadays, I'm hanging around with dudes that are like 30, 40, right? 50. Why? Because they've been through their own experiences in life, okay? And they got something to teach, and I'm willing to listen. That's what made me a better person. That's what made me a better businessman. That's what made me just a better fucking human being in general. And yes, and I had a lot of lessons I fucking had to learn out of my own. That's just the way life is. Some situations I put myself in it purposely. Some just fucking happen. And some I'm like, man, I am so fucking lucky that this shit didn't happen. Whether it was the guy behind me getting fucking shot or fucking swerving. I had a couch that appeared in front of me on the highway one time. And, so I also recognize, I'm like, dude, I just been given a fucking second chance. Like, God damn, like, I am lucky to fucking be here. And I need to put that in my toolbox and learn from my experiences and move on, right? So this is kind of like, I know... we talk, I know we always talk about skull fuckers and we talk about all kinds of shit, but also this is one thing that...
Gain experience through fucking skulls. Yeah. I'm going to tell you,
the
man.
bigger the skull, the better.
Right.
So the moral of this entire thing is, when you guys listen to Zero Bunker, is we also want you to have fun, learn some shit. And mostly we want you to take, every episode, we want you to take something home, right, with you. So we're not here just to spew shit. We're not here to talk about dumb shit. We're here to talk about, just shit that you guys can fucking help. You guys can use, man.
We want to be able to relate with you guys and provide value. I mean, we don't just get on here just to talk, entertainment is entertainment.
Dude, we should start like a hotline, dude, like a ZF hotline.
The ZF, like a suicide hotline? Because I worry about that,
dude.
man.
That would be that would not be cool, man. All right, suicide is not it's a serious issue. Okay,
it is.
Just want to highlight that. But
also, and I want to make this very clear. I take this very seriously, guys. There's more to your life than just likes, followers, and subscribers. With that being said, if you're watching on YouTube right now, we'd really like you to hit the subscribe button.
See, it's like this.
And also, Zulu Box.
We just like completely just, hey, up until this point, just listen to all that up until this point. That's all I need to know.
In all honesty, though, this is real shit. It sounds contradicting to have people saying you're talking about, there's more to life than social media, whatever, and you're putting yourself all over social media. You built a business around social media, and I hear you. Here's the deal, guys. The only way to make an impact in this world is to be a white knight in the game that's being played. And what we're doing is, sure, are we on Instagram? Well, no, seriously, think about this. Are we in Instagram? Like, yeah, absolutely. Are we just pumping like garbage or fake news or booty selfies at you? Fuck no. We're actually providing you with value more than that, right?
True.
Here on the Zero Bunker, yeah, do we want subscribers? Absolutely, because we want to be a loud enough voice that we can start to actually muddle out the guys that are using the same platform that we are, giving you bullshit, and that's the only way. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, of course we're on social media and it may sound contradictory, but that's not, it's not. I mean, I always say like internally policing. That's what we're doing. We're actually providing a light where there's so much darkness.
Right, and the whole white knight thing, maybe I'll translate it better. Be like Batman. There you go. Be like fucking
the Dark
Batman,
Knight.
Dude.
Sorry,
the Dark Knight. Yeah,
Knight,
not the old school ones. I mean, talk about the new one.
I don't know why I used white. It said like that was like the heroic. But I don't know. That was, yeah.
That's like so fucking like 14th century, dude.
We do history shit here, man.
I know, but we don't go back that fucking far, man. But anyways, listen, be like Batman, all right? Get a Lambo, save the world, dude, kill the Joker and all that good shit, all right? So,
all right.
But in any case, guys, I think we can go ahead and wrap this up. We got for those of you who are following on Zulu Fucks, man, and have been buying shit on Zero Foxtrot, starting in May, we got an awesome fucking deal. We're actually starting coffee, by the way, real quick, too, for all you caffeine addicts, man. We're finally getting back into coffee. It's going to be better than ever. It's going to be fucking awesome.
I helped pick out the bag texture. I just wanted to give myself a plug there.
The what?
I helped to point out what texture of bag that they're going to be in.
Yeah, and he doesn't realize that those
good.
are all nut sacks. But point being is that we got coffee coming up, man. We're going to have a subscription for it. I know everybody's been asking. And we got some badass designs dropping real soon. And on top of it, we got something special that's going to run through the whole month of May. And I'm not going to spoil it, so you're just going to have to wait. So
I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, well, it's going to be good.
All right, guys, thanks for stopping by. Hey, if you like what we're doing here, check out some of our other episodes as well. We've got some great ones out there. We're slowly starting to build out the content here on the page, and we're going to continue that shit up. We want to thank everybody for their support. Literally, everybody's been ridiculously amazing, and we appreciate that. We love that positivity. So consider subscribing if you're here on YouTube, if you're on iTunes or something. I mean, add us to your favorites, your playlists, or whatever.
Dude, we got iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, iHeart. We're working on Spotify. I mean, it's like conglomerate, dude.
Yeah, man. Spotify.
So you got all these fucking, and it's gonna be one guy's gonna be like, well, what about some fucking
we can't
program?
Can't keep up with all that.
And he's probably the only listener, dude. You know what? We'll upload it on there too, bro. No problem.
All right, guys. We'll see you all on the next one.
Later.